So, hello and welcome, everyone. So, we
Hello.
started this beautiful Sufi tea talk journey to share the Sufi wisdom with all of you and my dear friend Emre Kalender. Has an amazing, very wide, deep wisdom in Sufism, and not just in Sufism, also in other traditions like the Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, and Greek antique traditions. And it's such a pleasure to get to know Sufism much more with the guidance of him. So we started this journey. We will do this every first Sunday each month, and it's a free event. And donations are warmly welcome for charity events so that yeah, we can host spaces to do meshk, to do Sema, Dergah, and gatherings where it's accessible for everyone. And this is such a soulful desire to share this deep wisdom with the world in the language English, so it's also accessible for everyone who is not native speaking in Turkish. So, yeah, I feel very, very honored and grateful to do this with you and enjoy this beautiful Sophie tea talk.
Thank you very much, Eileen, for inviting me for such an event that I was thinking for a while why there is no source in English about Sufism, because in the world it's many people want to know about Sufism, but there's no correct source, or there's not really information about this. So I learned about Sufism from the people, from masters in Sufi tradition, but they are old, they don't speak English, like they speak Turkish, so they cannot explain in English. But I am a new generation, so I can make a Sufi talk in French. It's like my mother language. And in English, it will not be very, very like Sufi talk, because my mother language is Turkish. But like I can also make a speech in English. What I want to say before starting is Sufism talk with the bird language. It's a hidden language. It's a symbolism. It has a symbolism behind, because it's coming from the Egyptian tradition that we call Enoch. In the Old Testament, we call him Enoch. In the Egyptian tradition, we call him Thoth. In the Greek tradition, we call him Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes Trismegistus, and Islamic culture and the Sufi culture calls this person Idris. So all of these names are one person. He is someone who lived just before the Noah, with the ship, Noah. So he is a very, very old prophet. Uh, Actually, I don't want to call him as a prophet. He's a wisdom person, actually. He's a guide. He's a friend. He's a lover. He's a teacher. Because when we say prophet, we start to think about categories. Because when we say prophet, we have something about prophets, the religions and stuff all comes in. But we are not going to focus on religion or the religious things, because we are not religious people. That doesn't mean that we don't like religions, or we consider them as not useful or like old-fashioned. No, everyone needs different things. Some people really need religion. Also, I needed religion when I was younger, because human beings are being are born with nothing, yani, no, like a white paper. So they need to be educated in some manners. So they need to go to primary school, like maternal school, and after primary school, secondary school, high school, and university, college life. And then if you want to go further, you can go to the master classes and take some PhD, or you can go further like assistant professor, and you can be the professor of something. So religions is like when you start your journey, it's like the primary school. There are rules in the primary school. I want to talk about religions first. I don't want to separate like Islam, Judaism, Christianism, or like Buddhism. They are all religions, yeah. They have some rules. You have to follow some rules in order to become a good religious person. So it's like primary school. Remember when you were in primary school, the teacher was coming and controlling your nails. In my school, it was like that. You cannot drink while the courses because there are rules. You cannot eat anytime you want. After the second lesson, we were eating. You know, we were eating at the same time. The teacher was saying, okay, this is the food time. So we were eating together. When we were showing our nails, if they are clean or not, we were putting some tissue, and it was obligatory, you know, it was like for sure. If you don't have this tissue, the teacher makes you a minus. So you don't get that good degree if you don't follow these rules. So religions are like this. It's like the primary school. It's necessary. Maybe we all have been in primary schools. We have all followed different traditions. But at the end of the day, a person can come to a point that he says, I don't really want to like follow these rules anymore because I'm seeking for the truth. And the truth is not about these rules and stuff because it's so naked, actually. Like the truth from the evolution of human being, Charles Darwin is explaining this very well. So like we were all like coming from one source, one cell maybe, and we got evolved in centuries and centuries and billions of years, and now we became human beings. We are evolving physically and spiritually. So also when we are born for 70 years, for example, a lifetime, let's say, we are also evolving in this 70 years of lifetime as well, as we evolved for the 13.8 billion years, you know, the world's age, the scientists say, but we are not sure. So we are evolving, we are evolving. So we follow these traditions, these religions, and we can also follow them as well right now because they are good, they are not bad. But I want to ask a question. Would you go to primary school right now, register to a primary school and go to a primary school and learn how to read and write? If someone like advises you or suggests you to go to a primary school, would you go there? No, because you already know how to read and write. But we never say primary schools, maternal schools, they are unnecessary. They are not useful. No, they are useful, but after one point, we don't want to be binded with rules. That's where Sufism starts. So this is the introduction. Where Sufism starts, where our journey starts with Sufism, when you leave your old-fashioned, or when you leave your ancestors' beliefs, when you leave the religion that is taught to you by the system. I'm not talking about any specific religion, so I'm really careful about these kind of things, and I respect religions, and I think that they are useful. But do you need religion? Do you need rules? Do you need to pray 5 times a day, for example? Or do you need to do certain things to go to heaven? Like, what is heaven? Like, we start to ask these questions when we go to the Sufi path, because the religions, they say that you will go to heaven or hell according to the behaviors that you had in your lifetime in the world. You will go to the hell after you're dead, or heaven. In the heaven, you will have lots of girls, lots of guys, you know, lots of food. lots of rivers and stuff. It's explained in the holy books, you know, like the heaven. And you can go to the hell. There are like evils, devils, like this. They are burning you. The God is gonna burn you in the hell like a wood. You know, like they think and they believe this because, like, we need maybe this kind of rules when we are younger, like to understand little by little, little by little. And not everybody is thinking and meditating about these issues. They just need some basic rules and they want to follow them and they want to live in peace. You know, this is also I respect this kind of things. But some people really want to go further. They really ask who I am, where I am coming from. Really, like the question, what I am, who I am. Like, am I really a piece of God? Or I'm just like a creature that will die and like my name will be lost forever? Like, these are the questions that we all ask from the childhood. And the religions, they give the simple answer, you know? They say, okay, if you do good things, you go to the heaven. If you do bad things, you go to the hell. It's very simple. But some people really they dig further. So that's where Sufism starts. In order to go to the path of Sufism, you need to leave your ancestors' beliefs, the dogmas, the categories that you learned in your life from the childhood. You have to clean all of them. Maybe you can believe them again after you clean them, but first make the cleaning. Don't believe in anything. Like become deist, let's say, or become atheist, agnostic, yeah. Just refuse. And then you can accept again. Like, but we are born in some cultures. If you are born in Turkey, you become Muslim. 99% of the population is Muslim. If you are born in Mexico, you follow the Catholic tradition, most of the people. If you are born in Israel, you become Jewish. And if you are coming from a Jewish family, you are Jewish. And that's not the thing that you choose. That's that you inherit this religion, this knowledge, this information, and these truths that are taught to you. So you have to leave them all. So uh, when you go to a dergah in the past, the Baba, like the Murshid, the master of this dergah, this place, was saying, forget everything you have learned. Because I will just ask questions to you. So the answers is in you. I will just ask the questions. So a good master actually just asks the questions because people have their minds, their hearts, their intuitions. Like they can, everyone can understand the truth with the good questions. A real master asks the questions. So he asks the questions and he makes you forget everything that you have learned in your entire life. When you become a white paper, then you are ready to know the truth. But the truth is actually it's so harsh. Like when you say it, maybe like the truth is all is one. Okay, this is the truth. There's nothing to talk on top of it. Like we are all one. God is everywhere. We are all parts of God. Like this is the truth. But human mind cannot understand and perceive and understand this truth. So we need mythologies. We need stories. Without stories, there's no talk. There's no story. If people, human beings, they like stories. When there is a story, we like to listen, we are curious about it. The stories makes us think and meditate on something because they also include questions. A good story includes the questions as well. So when you become deist or atheist or agnostic, it means that you are in the maqam of Abraham. You know Abraham? He is like a Jewish prophet, actually. He's the prophet of the prophets and the father of the prophets. And then after Ibrahim, there comes the Jacob, Isaac, Joseph, and other Moses and other prophets. They all come from Abraham. So Abraham is the one who interrogates the God, who asks the God, "Show me yourself. I don't believe in you. Prove me. Prove me that you're alive and you're here and you listen to me and you hear me. Prove me this." It's in the Quran, you know, in the holy book of Muslims, it's written like this. And also in the Old Testament. He's not someone who follows the tradition of their fathers, who interrogates, who asks the questions. So this is the thing that we should do. We should interrogate, like, so this Abraham is the one like who interrogates, who is deist maybe, like who doesn't believe in religions and stuff, but who believes in some power. When a person comes to this degree, this makam, it means that he or she is following the right path because he became deist. So he lost the ancestors' religion, the belief. So he's ready to seek for the truth. So Sufism is actually teaching is a teaching, and it has also techniques like breath techniques. We call them zikir. Let me give you an example. Like it's belly breath. Like we do it together. It's like a breath work, you know. It's in the all every tradition you have these breath works. In the morning, in the yoga barn, it's a place in Bali. I was in a breathwork workshop. It's like our zikirs, like not like it's the same zikir because I know these zikirs, and the guy who was guiding us in the breathwork, it's like the same thing, exactly the same thing as we are doing in the zikir breath ceremony. Because this breath technique takes your mind away. You don't think with your mind. You come to a mood that you are open to perceive knowledge without your mind, because our heart also has like 40,000 cells of understanding and thinking. It's scientific. So we have intuition, like we feel something. We have other sources of knowledge, not our brain. Our brain only teach us like things with the things that we have already learned in our life, in our childhood. It thinks with categories, like Aristo in Greek culture. But it's so limited. It's so open for manipulation. So these breath techniques actually takes your mind away and shows you another way. Also, whirling is another technique of Sufis. Whirling is like turning around. You know, whirling dervishes with skirts, Rumi and this path. So we are whirling. Why we are whirling? To make the mind, uh, take the mind away, because we want to perceive everything we look. Some goes to the subconscious, some goes stays in the consciousness level. But when we whirl, it's only one line that we see. Our eyes are open, but we don't really perceive the items. So mind is out of use. So you can go to the truth, because we want to get out of mind's control and mind's teaching. Yes, it's useful, but when it is leading us, it's a problem. In Sufism, mind is equal for a donkey. We call it like a donkey, or like a server, uşak, or a donkey, we say. It's useful. We use this mind, this logic, and this brain. It's so useful. We like it, but we don't let the mind lead us, control us, take us to places that it takes us, because it thinks with categories and past experiences, and it's so open for manipulation. And the truth cannot be found with mind. So we are doing these techniques to take the mind, to blow the mind away. So the second technique is whirling. The first technique is zikr. And the other technique is poses, asanas that we have in different cultures. In the Hindu culture, we stand in the lotus pose, in the dog pose. How do you say it, Eileen? You know better than me the English. Dog, downward looking dog
Down,
position.
yes,
What's it?
yes.
Down
Downward facing dog or
facing
mountain.
dog. And the
Yes.
child pose, I know the Turkish names of these poses, but I don't. It's the first time that I'm making a speech in English about Sufism. So sorry for my mistakes and the terminology. Sometimes I don't remember. Like, sorry for these mistakes. But these poses is also the third technique we have in the Sufi path. And it's also in the religions you have this. In the Hinduism, in the Buddhism, you have different practices. In Islam, you have salat, like the praying. So Muhammad actually like says you cannot pray fast. You have to stay in these poses. When you are in the sajda, which means the child pose, you have to stay there for a while and meditate there. If you are not doing this, you are not praying. Sorry. It's just some movements that you are doing. We are doing these techniques to meditate, actually, to come to our center, to forget the environment, what's going on outside. No, a lot of things are going inside, but we never look inside. Our mind always takes us to external factors, the sounds, the musics, the people, the image, the television, and blah 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 blah. But in these poses, we meditate and we listen to ourselves. We ask ourselves who I am, where I am coming from. So this is the third technique. Uh, these three techniques, they are both physical and spiritual. And there's a physical also movement in these techniques. Uh, so these are, let's say, Sufi techniques, three techniques that I really use in my life. I pray or I do yoga, it's also praying. If you are meditating, it's a praying. If you are doing it like a, gym exercise, it's not a meditation or praying. But if you are doing yoga, like with meditating, it's really a very, very good praying for Allah, for God, whatever you say. So Mevlana Rumi, who is a really, who is a person who influenced my life actually a lot, who has lots of books like Divan-i Kebir, which is like 19 books, series of books, or Mesnevi, who lived in the 13th century and who has a master called Shams, and they are in love. The master and the student, dervish, they are in love. Shams is 18 years older than Mevlana. So he's a real master, he's a traveler. Shams influenced Mevlana's life very, very deeply. Before Shams, Mevlana was a scholar, everything with mind, books. He was always reading books. He was a alim, we say in Turkish or in Arabic, like who is really information based, like a professor in university, or who likes reading and who thinks that I will solve every problem with my mind and with thinking with my brain. Mevlana was this. And it's also nice until a level comes. We all pass from these levels. We are sometimes in the past, for example, very, very information based. I was like this, I was reading all day. Now I stopped reading because Mevlana says if you got the basic information like about the world, like astronomy, music, rhetoric, and like science, chemistry, physics, then okay, if you got this knowledge, then don't try to seek the truth with this knowledge. Try to seek the knowledge with your heart by using this science. You will use the information you learned in your past. So Mevlana really learned a lot of things about the physical world, and then he came to a point that he was whirling all the time, whirling and whirling and whirling and whirling, and people were inviting Mevlana to the mosque. Oh, our master, why aren't you coming to the mosque? You used to pray a lot. Now you are not praying anymore. Mevlana says, you know, my mosque is the place where lovers are. If there's no lover in a mosque, it's not a mosque for me, so I don't go to the mosque, he says. I go to the lover's place. I want to make music. I want to be with people who are in love, who look each other with love, you know, who has this light frequency. I want to share the atmosphere with these people, not with the people that I don't know or who are very like going to primary school. He says, I don't want to go to the primary school anymore. I have been to primary school. It was so nice, but it's enough for me. I will go to the trance. I will go whirling. I will do zikr, like these breath techniques, because it's another channel that I need to be opened in me so that I can get to the truth. So this is Mevlana, 13th century, I said. So he was this scholar before he met Shams. So he, who is Shams? 18 years old, older than Mevlana, I said. He was a musician. He was a traveler. He's coming from Iran, and he has a whirling tradition. He has a dancing tradition because Shams is a dancer actually. Like he dances. He's a dancer. He's not a typical traditional Muslim scholar and stuff. If you saw Shams, you would say he's a hippie, you know, because he's a musician. He's making music. He's sleeping on the forests anywhere he finds. He's in peace with forest, with other animals. You know, he knows how to survive. He's pure. Like he doesn't have these dogmas. He he's this kind of person. So when he met Mevlana, Mevlana was shocked and very influenced by Shams. And with Shams, whirling, like turning, zikir, like these breath techniques, came to the Mevlana's life, and he became a member of the love religion. This is what Mevlana says. He says, since I saw your face, my master Shams, my religion is love. I don't see and accept any religion other than love. If there's love in some teaching, I am all in. If there's no love, I am out, he says. And Nasreddin Hoca, another Sufi in the 13th century, he's a very wise person, says that if there's no humor, sense of humor in some teaching, just leave this teaching. It will not teach you anymore. If there's no humor, sense of humor, if it doesn't make you smile, if it doesn't make you laugh, so it's not a correct teaching because we are human beings, like we are full of joy in the essence, in the pure creation. We are pure love and pure joy, actually. We forgot this because of mind. Our mothers, our fathers, the system, the ancestors, they taught us something. So a Sufi actually is a person who tries to become to his pure version. So this is the thing. This is all I want to tell for today. So I want you to open your microphones. Whoever want to speak can open the microphone or to ask the question, because like I don't want it's recorded as well. I don't want you guys to speak a lot or to share your opinions unless I ask you to. But you can ask questions. And you can also express your opinions by asking the questions as well. This is also a technique of Socrates. Socrates was doing this. He was expressing his opinions by asking questions. Myetic methodology, we call it. So, any questions you want to ask are welcome. Yeah. Shall we record this as well? Maybe we should also offer writing it for those who do not want to be seen. Yeah, that's so understandable. You can also write your questions, or you can just open your microphone or ask your questions, whatever you want to ask. Maybe I will have the answer, maybe I won't, because, I'm just sharing what I know, what I feel. But feel free to speak or ask. Otherwise, I will say goodbye for today, and then I will see you next month, inshallah, on Sunday, because I don't want to make long speeches, because 40 minutes is the maximum that people's attention are focused. After 40 minutes, we don't listen. And Sufism actually is not about talking, it's about being, it's about behavior. Yunus Emre says, kalde ise senin işin, hal neylesin senin ile. I wish I could do this talk in Turkish. Because this tradition is always in Turkish language I made, but I will translate. Yunus Emre, a Turkish Sufi, says, if you are talking too much, the mood, hal, what will it do with you? You don't have this mood of love, but you are speaking only. This is the person type that Sufism really ignores and doesn't really want, let's say. Sufism is all about actually uh, listening, listening, and like try to be. For example, don't say or tell anyone about Sufism, just be this person. Just smile. Can you smile to people, for example? I tried it in Bali one day. I said, I will never speak to people today. I will just try, like an exam. I will just smile or like talk with my eyes. I will be in silence. And this was my best day. People were in love with me, like, because as I didn't speak, like but I want to speak. I want to say, for example, what a good person you are, but I cannot speak. I just look into the eyes and like communicate with the eyes, with the heart. And this is the real communication of Sufi, actually. So for 3 years in the um, Pythagoras, a Greek philosopher, Pythagoras, it has different name in different cultures, but he's really good in mathematics, Pythagore, this triangle of Pythagore. Pythagore was accepting students to his school because he has a school. He stayed in the Egyptian temples, Hermetic temples, Enoch temples for 35 years. He spent 35 years in Egypt. He learned a lot of things from the masters, and then he went back to Italy and Greece, and he opened a school. And he accepted students, but this school wasn't paid school. Like, you go to school and you serve. It's like the Marifet Sofra. Like, whatever you have, you contribute. No money is available here. With money, you cannot register. But if you're a real student, he accepts you and you serve to the school. So his students, were the people who were in love with this path. So the kings also wanted to send the princes, like the future kings, let's say, his sons to the school. Pythagoras looked, some of them was accepted to the school, but he was letting them go if they don't follow the rules. If they don't have this 3 years of silence, we call it mitike, you cannot talk about these issues. When you're a student of Pythagoras, it's prohibited for you to speak about these issues because you don't know nothing. He says, like, you know nothing. The first thing he teaches you, also in Sufism, you know nothing. So this is also a zikr, a meditation technique that dervishes do. I don't know nothing. I don't know. I don't know. Someone asks you some questions about religion, you say, I don't know. Because we really don't know the truth, actually. What we know, our brain knows according to the past experiences. This is not the truth. So the first thing that a dervish should do is to accept that he doesn't know, really. This is a meditation technique, zikr. I don't know. What's your name? I really don't know. Is Kalender my name? Is Eileen Sezen your name? It's a name that was given to you. Your mother was sitting and smoking, maybe. What? I will have a daughter. What will be the name of this daughter? Anna. Okay, let's put Anna. Or some ancestors, some grandfathers, mothers, the name, they give this name. It doesn't define you. So what is your name? I really don't know what I am, who I am. If you don't accept this, that you don't know, you never become a dervish in this path. So I also say, I don't know. I just share my thoughts. Whatever is coming to me, I share. And you are not binded with it. So I don't want to influence you. I'm just sharing my pleasure of Sufism. This is what I do. It can be close to you, it can be far away from you. Uh, it can be far away from your consciousness level. It can be close. You can say, oh, Calendar, I have asked the same questions. I'm really like going through the same processes. I'm asking the same questions. Then we are friends, like because in Sufism there is no hierarchy actually. There's mastership and dervishship. Like it's just until you come to a degree. When you come to a degree, then you are friends with everyone. There is no hierarchy. Hierarchy. If there is the hierarchy, there is the mind, and there is the categorias world, which will take you out of the truth. So I said I'm gonna finish, but I talked maybe 10 minutes. So now maybe you will have some questions.
Yes, yes. So
I,
I will start with a question. So I think maybe this resonates with those who maybe listen also to this recording afterwards. So how does someone know that he or she's on the Sufi path? So how you know that you have the calling of a Sufism if you haven't heard about Sufism, but maybe you are practicing things Sufis are practicing.
this is
How
a
am I
very nice question, Eileen. It's a very nice question. Sufism and this path is universal path. There are lots of Sufis, they don't know they are Sufi. For example, hippies, they travel. They're making deep conversations in the Zen beach with people by making music and they're seeking for truth. They are Sufis, actually. So Sufi like is a general term. If a person is asking the essence of materials, beings, creatures, he's a Sufi. But the as long as he is really ready to accept the truth, even if the truth is really contradictory to what he or she have learned in his lifetime, if this person is ready to accept everything, then he's Sufi, who is really seeking the truth. So, but if you ask in the very specific terms like initiatic path, because it's an initiatic path, which means you have to have a master. So your master is gonna come to you and is gonna show you by loving you so much, because this is the love religion. A person who has never experienced love before, how can he know what love is? Maybe we think that like what we have experienced with our girlfriends, boyfriends, like love, love, love. No, it's just relationship. Love never ends, you know. It has no gender, it has no agenda, secret agenda. It has nothing to do with mind. You're just in love. You lose your mind. So many people has never experienced the true love actually in their entire life. So a master is a person who is open for love. If he loves you back and if you love this master, there's a love relationship, and this relationship is out of genders, sex, religion, nationality, and anything. So with love, this teaching is submitted to this dervish actually. So in this initiatic path, you have to have a master. This master can be also like your father, your friend, you know, who loves you with no expectation, or who has this knowledge from Enoch or Pythagoras, you know, like these big masters, or Buddha, you know, he's also a good master, or Tao. They are all initiatic masters, or Abraham, Moses, Muhammad also, you know. Muhammad has a mosque where everyone comes. It's open for everyone, you know. And he has also a little mosque. We call it Sufa, that he has dervishes. He's teaching very deep, deep topics to these people by loving them so much. So they are the real disciples of Muhammad. So there are degrees of being dervish, or you ask, how can we know we are on this path or not? There are degrees and degrees and degrees and degrees and degrees, because every single year I say that I wasn't Sufi last year. Now I became Sufi. And next year I'm sure I will say that, you know, last year it wasn't the right thing. Now I feel good. And, you know, it will never finish. So it's a very, very long journey. And we have this journey with our friends. Actually, all our friends is kind of a master for us, you know, who is full of love, who, with who we have this connection. It's kind of a master. But a good master, I prefer that he is a really disciple and dervish of these initiatic temples. So I ask, like, who is your master? Who did you get this information and this zikir and this sema? You know, this tradition. This is a tradition. So what tradition are you following? Are you following the Kundalini tradition? Are you following the yoga tradition? They are all initiatic. You have to have a master. Like, if you're a Sufi, like, who is your murshid? Like, who, with who you are experiencing this love? So people ask these questions. But this was a very nice question. I loved it. Uh, Many of the people like find their master like when they're after 40, after 35. Like most of the people, they don't find any people like that. But yeah, I hope it's an answer. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a beautiful answer. And I'm very grateful to have you as our master and mentor and guide here. And especially in this English speaking language where, yeah, it's accessible for those who do not have the possibility to speak in Turkish to have a master. It's very profound. So thank you.
No. Actually, I am not a master. I'm just a speaker. Like I give this information to you. Like being a murshid, like it's different. Like it's not my thing actually. I'm just a dervish in this path, a student, and like just transmitting the things that I have learned, I have felt in my life. Yeah. Cezanne, I think you have a question. You want to write or like you want to take the
Yes, I can talk. I watched,
yeah.
hello. I
Hello.
watched one video at YouTube from you.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
told every prophet has guidance, mentor. And you said
mhm,
Hazreti Muhammad has a,
mhm.
I want to learn who was that.
You know, this is a very, very nice question, and it's a Sufi secret, actually. Like, it's not told in the books or stuff, but from my master, I inherited this knowledge as well. So I can share it with you. Muhammad's master was Ali Karani. Ali Karani, according to some, he was the uncle of Veysel Karani. According to some others, he was the father of Veysel Karani. There are some discussions about it. But he was the spiritual master of Muhammad. Other than that, Muhammad actually had 12 physical information, physical science master, 12. Like he learned how to read and write, astrology, you know, like many, many teachings, mathematics and stuff. So Muhammad learned this physical information from 12 masters, 12 different masters. But the spiritual hermetic temple, like Murshid, like it's, you know, it's a different teaching. And not everybody can be this master. But it was Ali Karani. And it's the information I have heard from my master. Like, I'm not telling it from, um, this is my source. But it's for sure that you have to have a master. Like all the prophets also. For example, Jacob, or let's say Joseph. Who is the master of Joseph? It's Jacob, his father. Who is the father? Who is the Murshid of Jacob? It's Ishaq. Who is the Ishaq's master? It's Abraham. It's all father, yeah, and it's coming from the family, actually. So who is the master Murshid of Ali? It's Muhammad, his cousin, actually. You know, like it's coming from the family because you know, like these people, they are masters and they also kids. So you become the master of your kid as well. Like it's unconsciously, it becomes like this, yeah, and it's automatically. I hope it was a question, answer of the question.
Nice answer. But I know Hazret Muhammad never learned reading
Mhm.
and writing.
Yeah, we call it Ummi.
Yes.
Ummiyina Rasulen. In Quran, in the holy book of Muslims, it say that we sent you a messenger from Ummiyina Rasulen. Ummi means who is not from the Jewish tradition. The people like who are not from the Jewish tradition, Jewish blood, we call them Ummi in the Arabic tradition that time. So Muhammad was a Ummi. So he wasn't like a Jewish because all the prophets that I mentioned, they're Jewish, you know, Abraham, Joseph, Ishaq, Yohanna, Yahya, which means in Turkish, in English, Yohanna. You know, Jesus was also Zechariah, Yasekar in English, they're all from the Jewish family, but Muhammad wasn't. Yani. That's why we call him Ummi. So nobody can say that Muhammad doesn't know how to read and write. He wrote a beautiful book, I think. It's Quran. It has poem inside. It's very literature. But they taught us in the Islamic traditional Sunnite path that Muhammad didn't know how to read and write. You know, I never ever follow a person who doesn't know how to read and write, who couldn't learn how to read and write. I never follow this person because it means that he has no mind. So this is not a correct information. Muhammad knew very well how to read and write. You know, he was a person who travels a lot because he was a tradesman. He wasn't stuck in the Saudi Arabia or Mecca. He was traveling. He was going to Syria. He went to Hatay. You know, he participated to some meetings with his grandfather Abdul Muttalib, to some meetings, some Hermetic meetings, because there were people who were also following the path of Hermes, Enoch, Idris, whatever we say. There were people like this. So Muhammad discussed with them, talked with them, sit with them. But this is, you know, I told you, Sezen, before I spoke, like forget everything when you like want to go for the Sufism. You have to forget everything that the religions, the books, right? Because these books are written in the Emevi and Abbasi time, which were the enemies of Muhammad. Abu Sufyan, you know, the Mecca capital, owner of the capital was Abu Sufyan. He became Muslim by force. When Mecca was conquered by Muhammad, he automatically became Muslim. So he came to Muhammad and he said, I became Muslim, mu'min like you. I became one of you, Muhammad. Muhammad said, no, you are just a Muslim. Muslim means like you are in peace. You don't hurt us. You don't bother us. You are in peace, but you are not mu'min. Mu'min means that you are our brother. You are sure of yourself. You are really on this path. So these terms are different. So Abu Sufyan's son Muawiya was the one who fought Ali, and Muawiya's son was Yazid, who killed 72 members of Muhammad's family. So they wanted to, you know, kill everyone that Muhammad's tradition was attached to. So they didn't want this Muhammad's Sufi tradition to continue. Otherwise, there's no slavery, because Muhammad says, I don't want slavery. I want free people. But the system is based on slavery. If there's no slaves, the economy doesn't work. So these capital owners, Abu Sufyan, they didn't want Muhammad's teaching to spread out. And you know, they always fought. And these books that we learn these informations are all written after Muhammad was dead, like passed away, like 200, 300 years later than Muhammad was passed away. So we can never trust these traditions. And Sufi tradition is not a written tradition, it's verbal. It's with the music. Because with the music, you cannot burn the music. It's going from heart to heart. It's spreading. Yunus Emre's sayings are always in our heart and in our mouth. But if it was written, you can burn it. Then it's lost, this tradition. So Muhammad, even in his lifetime, he said, don't write my sentences, because people can misunderstand my sayings, because the conditions will change in the future. So people will want to imitate my life and stuff, and they will be stuck, because like he lived in the 7th century in Arabia. Like they were burying girls, little girls, because they were ashamed of these girls. They were killing these girls. It was a reason of shame if you have a daughter. If you have a son, it was you are proud. You know, these people were like this. So Muhammad was born into this culture. So he really didn't accept this culture, and he said, this is bullshit. I don't follow your tradition, my ancestors' tradition. So he was a revolutionary person. A real Sufi is a revolutionary communist, like communist, who shares everything, who is not binded with capital, with power, who really sees everyone equal, and who is ready to share everything. You know, you asked one question, Sezen, I answered maybe 10 minutes. Sorry, I talked too much. Any other questions?
I think since we are doing it now 1 hour, maybe would you like, since you are a very talented musician and you also said that Sufis are not just talking, they are also doing music, would you like to close this beautiful first Sufi tea gathering with playing on one of your instruments? As an example, the ney is also
No, it was
very
like that. It was here. Yes.
because ney is the Turkish ney is the typical Sufi instrument. Maybe you want to say a few words about that, and we would love to listen and to
But I
close
don't
the
know how
session.
it sounds from the microphone. Like, it sounds good? No. Your microphone is closed.
Oh, sorry. We cannot
Yeah.
hear it properly. Maybe
Yeah.
with earphones or something? Oh, this would be wonderful if we can listen shortly.
How we will do it? I don't know. Like it's if it doesn't sound.
Maybe we can try it with the earphones you had, if it's working with the earphones.
Let's try. Let's try. Let's give it a try.
Unfortunately, we're also not hearing it.
Yeah. So like maybe we will have lots of talks. In the next talk, maybe like I will learn how to do it because one of my friends wrote here. There's something that I should do, like closing the other external sounds and stuff. There's some settings about it. We will do it, don't worry. We have time. I want to continue this tradition, you know, the first Sunday of the month, really for years and years, for people who really want to know something about Sufism and who really feel close to this tradition of Mevlana or the Sufi path. And I'm really open the questions that you will ask me on Instagram in private, on DM, or like if you want to talk, I can talk to you on the phone. Like it's my pleasure, you know, like, and I don't accept and expect actually anything from you, like any money or anything, but donations will go to the Dergah, actually, the Vidisiz Kuşlar. There's a place that we are whirling, we are making music. It's not dergah actually, like it's a place that we gather. When we say dergah, people like expect too much things. But the rent of this place or the food that people are eating, coffee, tea, you know, we don't expect money from people. It's for free. But if you have like some sources that you want to donate, it's welcome. Otherwise, I'm really okay, like in talking like this. It's free of charge.
Thank you a lot. I'm feel so grateful and honored to start this beautiful Sufi Tea Talk journey with you. So everyone who wants to support this, since we are uploading it here on YouTube, like it, share it with your friends so that people hear about it and without any expectation. So we think if you share with your heart this beautiful wisdom, it will turn back to you in different forms and ways. And this also supports us that we share much more this beautiful light with the world.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay. I will see you next Sunday, next month, the first Sunday, hopefully. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Eileen, for organizing and like thinking and planning these talks. It's really like I feel so good to have this minutes, these talks with you. Thank you very much and have a good night. You know, here it's 11 o'clock at night, like 11 p.m. So I'm gonna sleep. No, it's not 11, it's 12. Oh, it's midnight already. It's too late here. Yeah. Okay.